Hey everyone, welcome to the Farm and Pastor's Wife. I'm so glad you're here. My name's Leslie and you're in my kitchen down on the farm, and I'm super excited to have you here for a low carb lunch. So if you're new here, I don't always do low carb. In fact, I rarely video anything low carb just because I think most people want my regular recipes. But a few have asked for some low carb recipes. Today we're doing that. Sorry if you can't hear me. I've got carrots processing in the water bath canner, and I'm frying up some hamburger to share with you this low carb dessert. So don't go anywhere. If you haven't subscribed, the intro is a great time to hit it.
Hey darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city, let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is...
Okay, I went and grabbed an apron because I didn't want anything, the grease was popping, and I didn't want anything to get on my shirt because those of you who know, I have a grandson named Judah. He is actually graduating from preschool tonight, or daycare, or whatever. Although he'll continue to go through the summer, his little graduation's tonight. And I was going to wear this shirt. And so I went and grabbed an apron. Okay, so I have a pound of ground beef going right here. It was 80-20%. Like, I know a lot of people who do the low carb things, they like a higher fat ratio. I kind of go somewhere in the middle. Sometimes if it's on sale, I'll get the high fat ratio, but I try to go somewhere in the middle. But there's not a whole lot of grease in this to drain out, so I'm actually not going to drain this because it looks pretty lean. So I'm going to season that up with some salt, and some pepper, and some onion powder, now I'm a little bit early for lunch, so it's not quite time. I'm just getting the burger ready. In fact, I don't like it real hot when I'm ready to fix this dish, and so I'm going in with a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Okay, now the burger part of this is ready. I'm going to turn it back on just real briefly just to get those seasons in and mixed in well with everything. And of course I would splatter it out on my stove. That's okay though. Alright, so my meat is ready. The next thing I want to start on is the sauce. Okay, so let me tell you what we're making. We're making a Big Mac wrap. Now you can use different things. I'm going to show you some options, but it is so good. Now y'all forgive me for if it sounds like I'm screaming. It's because my carrots are in the water bath canner behind you, and I just don't want it to and disregard any mess you see here in my kitchen because I have been canning today, so that always makes a mess. So what is so good about a Big Mac? That is the sauce, right? Okay, so we're gonna make the sauce real quick, and then we'll just wait till it's time for lunch. I must be super hungry and super excited about this because I'm ready to eat. So I'm using regular Duke's mayonnaise. You know, if you're low carb, you don't necessarily worry so much about fat things for the most part. All right, and this is just no sugar added ketchup. There's G. Hughes ketchup you can use. I like this. So, and I'm just getting it to a certain color. I look for a certain color. That was probably I would say 2.5 tablespoons. And I'm not gonna, this is a sauce that everybody can use, so I'm not gonna eat all of this. And I always have to remember that when I'm making things, that if I'm figuring out the carbs, I have to remember, oh, I'm not getting all of those carbs. So I'm gonna add in a 1/3 full tablespoon. I want it just a little bit pinkier. And that's the color I'm going for there. See if you can see that. Kind of a peachy pink color. All right, now to that, I'm going to add in some dill relish. Normally I would add sweet relish, but I think I'm gonna add in some dill relish. But I don't want to add all of it because, let me get just some of the juice. Because I'm going to need some for, I put that relish in our, on our Big Mac. So, or I could cut up some dill pickles, but I'm just going to use that. Okay, one last ingredient is, normally I would add garlic powder. But it's up high. I don't feel like getting the stool out, so I'm just going to stick with onion powder. Put a little onion powder in there. And stir that around. All right. And we have our sauce. It is ready and for our Big Mac. So, when it's lunchtime, I'll come back, I'll show you the 2 types of wraps you can use. I mean, there's multiple kinds of wraps, but I only have 2 types here that you could use. And we will put this thing together. It is so good. I made them the other day. I saw this recipe on Instagram, I believe it was. And oh my goodness, I decided to try it. And yes, I'm in love. I am flat in love with it. So, all right, I will see you guys in just a little bit when it's time for lunch. I must be really hungry because I'm ready for lunch right now. So, all right, I'll see you back in it'll be just a second for you guys. If you prefer sweet relish and you wanted a low carb option and you're thinking sweet relish is not low carb, there is Mount Olive has a sweet pepper relish, no sugar added. And it is sweetened with sucralose. So I don't know where sucralose falls on your items of acceptance or not. I use this, but I use it sparingly. When I make egg salad, I put a little bit of this in it. When I make tuna salad, I put a little bit of this in it. So I don't know where sucralose is, if you're totally fine with it and it doesn't get you out of whatever you're in. I never can stay on a diet long enough to get in anything like ketosis, but that's my goal. But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that this was out there. I don't know how far reaching it is and where you can find it, but my store does have it. It's by Mount Olive, and it is their sweet relish, no sugar added. Look for the blue label. Okay guys, so now you can make these in the low carb tortillas. This is probably one of my favorite, and they actually have a smaller size that is actually 0 carb. I believe this one is 4, but this one, they actually have one out. I have not tried the 0 carb one yet, but you can definitely look for it and try it. But I'm going to use this cut the carb. The same person this recipe came from online, I believe I heard about this from. I follow several different Instagram keto, low carb type things. So I ordered this online. I don't know that you can find this in stores, but this is actually what I'm going to use. But if you don't have that, this is fine. Use a low-carb wrap. They sell the Mission kind brand, that brand. I'm just going to happen to use this. And in my case, because of the way this is shaped, this is rectangle, I'm actually going to cut this in half and get 2 of them. This does have more carbs than the low-carb tortilla. This has 8 carbs or 9 carbs of net carbs. And net carbs are where you subtract your fiber and so forth, all that good stuff. All right, and I'm just going to cut this in half. So I'm going to get 2 of these. Now, I did chop up a little bit of onion, and I know onions have carbs, so if you don't want that, then by all means don't use it. So, okay, I'm going to take a slice of cheese of choice. This happens to be American cheese, but you can use whatever. I'm going in here with a little bit of my meat mixture, and it doesn't take a whole lot. Just a little bit, so I'll have this meat mixture for a while. All right, and I let my meat cool just so I can handle it and stuff it in there and so forth. Okay. So now I want to sprinkle, I want this to be like a true Big Mac. So I'm going to sprinkle on some sesame seed right on my meat. Make sure, I hope you can see what I'm doing. I did find another jar of dill. Actually, this is not dill pickle relish. This is dill cubes, salad cubes, but it'll work. It tastes like dill pickle. So I want to get a little bit of that and drain the juice off because I don't want the juice. And so I want to put a little bit of the dill pickles on here. All right, I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of the onion, the really finely chopped onion. I'm going to sprinkle that on here. And then I'm going to top it with another piece of cheese. And then, depending on what kind of tortilla you're using, you wrap it up like a burrito or whatever. On this one, I'm going to bring the sides in and then start rolling, keeping my fingers pulling the sides in because they like to come out. They like to say, no, no, I'm not going that way. And I give it a little smushy smush. Tuck that in because I don't want any spillage. I want everything staying in. So again, I'm going to bring the sides in because that's what keeps everything inside. And then I'll start rolling, continuing to keep my sides pulled in. You kind of got to have all your fingers going at the same time. Okay, so what I've done now is I've just taken the roll-ups and stuck them in my air fryer at 375. I'm not exactly sure how many minutes. I just keep an eye on it, but I will time it today and let you know. So I'll see you when it comes out. So good. So good. If you've watched my carrot video, I don't know if you just heard one of the carrot jars seal or not, but that is the most glorious sound in the world when they ping and you know they've sealed. It is the most wonderful sound in the world. Okay, so hang tight. I'm gonna share my lunch with you and then we'll do some tomato talk. Okay, everyone, here it is. It actually could have stayed a little bit longer, but I was so hungry. What I did was I left it in about 8 minutes and I flipped it over about halfway through. So there it is on the bottom. And so what I like to do is cut it in half. I feel like it makes it go further. But now this wrap is real crunchy, as you can hear. I don't know that the tortillas will be that crunchy, but look at that. Y'all, picture worthy by all means. All right, there we go. Okay, hang on. Let me get a beautiful picture of this before it slides all over the place, and then we'll give it a taste test. Okay, everyone, let's give this a taste. Now, before we go anywhere, I'll share with you how I lost my weight. It wasn't necessarily doing low carb, and I'll actually show a before picture of me, a couple of before pictures of me, and then you can come back and see me now. But low carb is definitely how I am maintaining it. I did do a program called Optavia, losing my initial weight, but low carb has definitely helped keep it off. So let's give this a taste. There's my sauce right there. That is absolutely delicious. It is so good. Oh my, so good. All right, I'm not gonna make you hear me crunch anymore, but I am gonna go eat this because I am starving. So I'll see you guys back in just a little bit, and hang on. I'm gonna show you the pictures of me before, and then we'll talk tomatoes. Whoa, can y'all believe those pictures? Wowza. Yeah. So I've lost quite a bit, and I'm so thankful that low carb is keeping me in check. Okay guys, so let's talk tomatoes. I'm out here on my front porch and the sun is trying to peek through some clouds, so I may get a little squinty here in a minute. But the other day I shared with you guys and shared with you my my tomato plants, and that they had a problem, and I knew it was a problem, and it was possibly 2 to 3 different types of problems. But I knew when I shared with you or showed you to turn the camera on the tomatoes that were curled that I knew everybody was going to say it was a moisture issue, because the reason I knew everybody was going to say it was a moisture issue is because that's what it looks like. When you Google curled leaves, the first thing that comes up is lack of moisture or too much sunlight or something like that, or it could even be too much moisture. But I knew down in my heart it was not a moisture issue, that it was something else. And I really, in my heart of hearts, had a feeling I knew what it was. Now, the other thing we had was some weird coloration on leaves, not browning or not even really yellowing. It almost looked like a stained glass, and it was actually very pretty. But so that was another issue, and I was wondering if it was a virus. I may have to change seats. The sun's in my eyes. Okay, this is a little better. So anyway, I went and checked and have done some research and so forth. So let me just say what I think we have come across that we have is actually what I thought may be the problem, is that we have a nitrogen toxicity, which means we put way too much chicken litter on the garden, which I was absolutely afraid of, because there's areas of the garden where it's darker, the soil is darker than others, which means, you know, it dropped a good load of the chicken litter in that one spot. And those are some areas that I have the curled up leaves. And also those first 4 plants, those are Cherokee purples, and I really think they may be super sensitive to. Okay, so we're coming inside to talk because my battery died and I can plug it up in here. So anyway, I think that the 4 Cherokee Purple, the ones that are curled the most, I think they're just maybe extra sensitive to the nitrogen. The yellowing leaves, those are the ones I'm iffy on. It's either one of two things. It is either the same nitrogen issue, which I'm almost sure that's what it is. And it's just it's a much hardier plant. The leaves are huge. It's a Brandywine. I think these are just super hardy, and they may just now be showing a little bit of signs of the nitrogen burn, sort of. Or the other thing that we have figured out that it might be is that it might be the tobacco mosaic virus. If it is, I don't think it's as bad of a virus as blight. Well, blight's not really a virus. Blight is a fungus. I think the tobacco mosaic, it can go to my potatoes, which I only have like 4 or 5 potato plants that actually sprouted and came through. The tomatoes are the only thing really I'm seeing with it right now. And so I'm actually just going to pinch off the bottom leaves when I see the leaves affected by it. I'm going to cut those off and just wait it out, because I think it'll still fruit, it'll still bear. It may be stunted slightly, but I would rather get a harvest than to unknowingly just jerk it out, and all the while it was going to produce me a lot of tomatoes. But so anyway, that's what it is. So it is not a moisture issue. It is too much nitrogen, and that could be my problem on all the tomato plants. If there is a second issue, it's great possibly the tobacco mosaic virus. So I don't know, but I do know it is not a moisture issue, and the high probability of the nitrogen toxicity is super duper high. In fact, I was super fearful when he told me he put chicken litter on the garden. I was like, oh no. Not because I don't think it needs it. I just think that's something you need to do, like maybe in the fall, and let it dilute before. So it is well fertilized. That area is well fertilized, and next summer's garden is going to be perfect. And I think this year's garden is going to be awesome. I just think we may have a little bit of response to the nitrogen, if that makes sense. So, okay. Well, I do have some green peppers that probably need to be harvested pretty soon. And my problem is I planted green peppers, red peppers, yellow peppers, and maybe some orange peppers. And like, I don't know which is which. So if I don't want to harvest a red pepper and it be green, but I do want to harvest the green pepper when it's time. So there are actually several out there that's ready. I actually have a tomato about that big. So things are fixing to come in. I have to go out tomorrow and fix the trellis. So of my beans, I need to raise it up a little bit. So I may do that in the morning. It's too hot right now, and I'm getting ready to go to Judabug's preschool graduation. So, all right, guys. Well, that's all I have today. I hope you enjoyed this low-carb lunch, this tomato talk. And so anyway, I'm going to go freshen up. I'm wearing what I got on. I'm going to freshen up and wait for Bryant to get home, and then we are going to head out to my Jitterbugs preschool graduation. And so check out Sunday's weekend wrap-up video for some footage of that. So, all right, I will see you guys next time on The Farm and Pastor's Wife. Remember, if the grease is hot enough, you can fry anything. Bye, y'all.